Welcome back to another episode of Late Entry, hosted as always by RBF Kyle,
How we doing?
Jaxson Dart's agent,
What's going on?
and it's your boy Double Dose.
Shirtless double dose, by the way.
I'm on my Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get us to the new heights levels of subscribers.
We better get Taylor Swift on here real soon.
Hey, look. Hey, Jaxson Dart's agent, you might be able to make some calls.
Yeah. You know Tommy DeVito's agent?
That'll cost you. It'll cost you.
Yep. It's for us.
No, I don't do nothing for free.
That's a good agent.
Gonna be talking to you guys about some of the biggest highlights of the game, or of the day, excuse me. We got some Lions, Browns, Vikings, Steelers, Chiefs, Ravens, Giants, Chargers, Colts, Rams, Bucks, Eagles. But before any of that, the Sunday night shootout, Packers versus Cowboys. I, as you guys know, am a Packers fan. I'm kind of overhearing I don't know how to feel about a tie. Like, I was very prepared to what happens if we win and what happens if we lose. And I'm kind of sitting over here feeling a little hollow. So I'm gonna let Cal start this one off.
Yeah, this fills me with so much joy to see the Packers tie this game. I got all my fantasy points out of it that I needed, and and the Packers got a tie on their scoreboard. So I am cool with this as a Lions fan that they tied this here. I wish Micah would have got his big comeback moment. He kind of got a sack. I guess he got rewarded with a sack that wasn't really a sack, but he got his moment in the fourth quarter. He got his get back on Dak. But it was just kind of a slow game from the Packers defensive line that has been so dominant over the last 3 games. So maybe some concern from Packers fans. I don't know. Precious, let us know in the comments what you think about this game. But yeah, to me, this is a W.
Yeah, I mean, as a Lions fan first, and we're gonna talk about the Lions game. They got kind of double get back on the Packers today for who they played and beat today. But also, if I'm not mistaken, we're sitting number 1 in the division right now.
Yep. Because of that tie. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Lions are number 1 now.
Number 1. It was a slow start week 1, but we're here. Toph, I want to ask you, because you probably might know the rules better than us on this. Is there any benefit of a tie? Because when you do seeding, it's based off of wins, right? Not losses, not win percentage. So, I know they didn't lose, but it's them not going for it with 1 second left to just try to get a touchdown and kicking a field goal instead. Are you aware of how that benefits them?
If it comes down to like tiebreaker, let's say 2 teams in the same division have the exact, I guess you can have the same record as a tie. A tie is better than a loss. So if it came down to the nitty gritty, the tie is better than having an L on your record. So it's a rare thing.
I guess
but it's better than an L.
I guess with how close we all expected this division to be, I guess that does make sense, because it probably will come down to the nitty gritty. Plus, they have, with the first matchup so far, they currently would hold the tiebreaker over the Lions because they beat them.
So now you just have to have a better record in your division now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got a lot of thoughts about this. First of all, it was not lost on me that basically the entire end of the fourth quarter and overtime was about a 3-point game. I mean, even down to the fact that they kicked a field goal to tie it up. The Packers need to get in the lab and practice their special teams. This is 2 weeks in a row that a kick has cost them a win. Obviously, we know what happened last week with the Browns. Today, I mean, I think everyone came into this game, everyone that's not in Dallas, everyone that's not in Texas, came in expecting the Packers to manhandle them. I know I did. I bet money line, but I was thinking it was going to be 10, 14 points personally. And the game started off like that. First quarter, I mean, it was absolute domination. Their offense couldn't do anything. Our defense was holding weight. Our offense was putting up points. Then you went on to kick the extra point, and look at that. Blocked again. and they run it back, score their 2 points. So that's a 3-point swing there because you take the extra point off, you add the 2 points there. That would have been the whole game right there. And those 3 points were what the Packers were chasing the entire fourth and the entire overtime. So, like I said, they need to get in the lab and practice those kicks because that is going to, it seems like, be an ongoing issue. That if you don't straighten out, you'll continue to lose games because of it. Both offenses looked freaking incredible. You had Dak and Jordan Love dueling it out. Tofu just mentioned before we got on here, it's the highest tie in NFL history, 40-40. Crazy. Very entertaining game. But, yeah, if they don't straighten that out, that's gonna haunt them moving forward. That's two games, or two, what I'm trying to say. It's 2 wins taken off of the win column that should be there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think my biggest thing is just the Packers remind me of like the Bengals now, but the Chargers of old. How like, for some reason they just like they're too nonchalant. They get too slow. Like the first drive touchdown. I do this like almost every single game. It's like, why can't you sustain this through the entire game? And at this point, you had all the momentum. Then after that blocked PAT attempt, the game flipped right on its head. You get the Cowboys right back in the game. If you could score every possession, every game just like that, there should be no reason you shouldn't be able to at least put a couple drives together, at least get 3 points. But, it just looked so good for that first quarter, and they just kind of plateau. Luckily, they turned it on, when the back was against the wall, they had to do it. Like I said, you look at someone like the Lions, they're trying to put up 100 every single game. They're putting, B2A every single drive. That's what you should do. Because obviously the talent-wise, you could see it. Romeo, what did he have, 3 touchdowns today? Josh Jacobs was running crazy. It's like, you have the talent. You just need to put these plays together. Now, I don't love all these end arounds to Matthew Golden. I think I got to get that guy involved. He had, 1 deep ball he stole from his teammate. Like I said, they got the talent. They just got to put it together.
I want to touch on that real quick because we were talking about that before earlier today with the Bills. We're not going to talk about that game. But the Bills, they keep playing up to their competition and down to their competition. And it's like they're playing these inferior teams, and you'd think that they should be blowing them out, and they don't. And then the Packers, same thing here. But like you said, it does seem like the Lions, who we're going to talk about, they're the only team that comes out, like you said, and just wants to kill every week. Put up as many points as possible, doesn't matter who we're playing. Punish bad teams, try to beat good teams. Also, I've got a confession to make. I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared. I was doing a lot of talking when the Packers got Micah Parsons about how their defense was going to be just absolutely insane. And, the first few weeks it was. The Cowboys just put up 40 points on us tonight with no CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Like
that just happened.
I'm starting to have the thoughts that maybe this defense is not what I was expecting it to be. And
that secondary is so bare.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I mean, it's concerning. We're not generating the pressure on the defensive line that I was expecting to. Now, I'll say this, and you kind of mentioned it. I was expecting Micah to, come in there with something to prove and kind of wreck this game entirely tonight. And really, the only time that you really saw his presence, like, where it's like magnified, like that's him, it was big, but saving that touchdown that Dak was going to run in. Came all the way from the one side, came all the way, chased him over, and tackled him from behind. Or, the sack that you're trying to say doesn't count as a real sack. But anyways, if you didn't see the clip of that too,
you didn't. You didn't agree when we saw it in real time either, but
look, the stats. If you didn't see the clip, it's funny. Go find Dak where he's being interviewed afterwards, and they tell him that it was awarded as a sack, and he was like, "What?" Anyways, Packers offense, and what's good is like I feel like Jordan Love's decision making. It seems like it does have growth, and it seems like he's making the right decision time after time. Watching that final drive reminded me a lot. I'm not trying to say he is this quarterback. I'm saying that it reminded me of watching like a Tom Brady drive where it's like we're just doing these quick little dink and dunks methodically moving down the field. Not making any like crazy risk or anything like that to put you in a bad situation. That was good to see. Aside from that, everything else gave me concern. The defense gives me concern. The special teams gives me concern. But the offense, it looks like we're getting better. Any more thoughts on this game before we move on to the next?
Go Lions.
All right. Kyle, take off. Lions versus Browns.
All right. The Lions did what they needed to do today, and kind of what Spencer just talked about here. It wasn't necessarily flashy. It felt like, as a fan, it felt like they just kind of did what they needed to do to win. But at the end of the day, we were up by 24. So it didn't feel smooth the whole way through. Judkins kind of showed why he got picked and got through all the allegations. I mean, he balled out today. So there's some good notes to take from the Browns, but damn, they just need to start Shedeur Sanders, and they'll be a whole different team. I might change my name to # start Shedeur Sanders.
Okay, there we go.
But no, I just think this was just total world-class domination. Did what we needed to do, but didn't. I mean, it also at the same time we need to clean shit up. So hopefully next week we come out stronger.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it wasn't super flashy. It felt like one of those grinders where it's like, especially at the beginning, it was real grindy. But then when the dust settled and you look at the final score, you're like, okay, we did what we had to do, which is good. So this is where I was saying earlier, like where the Lions kind of got 2 wins in one day. They are now ahead in the division, but also just kind of put the belt on the Browns, who the Packers could not last week. So I would say it should give a lot of confidence to us and a lot of fear in the rest of the NFC North. Like, all right, we've lost our coordinators and our center, and we're still right here. We're picking up where we left off last season. Full steam ahead. For the Browns, did you see that interception? One more thing about the Lions. Hoping that we get Tyron Arnold and DJ Reader back. Those would be big pieces to miss on defense. So that does give me a little bit of concern. That was our biggest issue last season too. Was the whole defense depleted.
I know.
There were some 4.
Yep, and there were some definite scares today. Even Aiden Hutchinson went off limping at one point. It was very scary as a Lions fan to watch this defense out there today.
Yep. That pick that Joe Flacco threw was terrible.
Oh, he basically threw that to Kirby. Yeah.
There was nobody there. That boy just dropped back and said, fuck it, and just whipped that boy. That was bad. And so, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people, even Browns fans, like, all right, like, I think Flacco's probably should go ahead and ride off into that dusty trail. Go join Russ on the bench. But
yeah, do what his kids does and put on a Lions jersey and just watch the games.
Is that
his
facts?
kids? There were pictures of his kids watching a football game with like St. Brown jerseys and Gibbs jerseys on.
Oh my goodness! I know they like to troll him too. They talk about that about how.
Oh man, his kids hate him, which is terrible. Yeah, I've talked about that on here. His kids are his worst enemy, which is probably what fuels him and keeps him in the league so long. But
the only thing where I'm different from you is not that I don't want to see Shedeur, but I think we all know Dillion Gabriel is getting the shot first.
Probably, yeah. Oh well, not even probably. Yes, you're right. But what? Yeah, dude, he is definitely the better quarterback. He isn't a statue like the other two. And that O-line is not doing the quarterbacks any favors. So why not put the ball in the kid's hand that can get you around and, I mean, make some plays for you, you know?
I think that the Browns should see themselves in a similar situation as the Giants. And it's like, we're not really going anywhere right now. It's time to see what we've got. And the faster you start Dillion Gabriel, the faster you can see if he looks good or does not look good. And they can also potentially look at Shedeur if it comes to that. Toph?
All right, I'm about to go on a couple rants right here. First, I'm going to give some props to RBF Kyle. in the beginning of the year, who did he have as Defensive Player of the Year? That boy Aiden is cooking. I think he's running away with that award. I don't think it's even really close right now. That man is a monster. He can't be stopped. It's really just him. He got some other nice people, but he is that anchor in there. As long as he's on that field, I also think the Lions are the best team in the league right now.
Hey, can I
I think,
also can I tag
yeah.
team to that and give
Mhm.
Kyle some credit as well too? You're looking very right now. We had a lot of arguments coming into the season. I was saying that we needed to see what was going to happen with the Lions before we had all the confidence. I said that I thought the Packers were going to run away with the NFC North. Through 4 weeks, I'm looking extremely wrong, and you're looking extremely right. So I want to go ahead and give you your props for that as well too.
I mean,
Um,
hey, we lost to them too. So it's so hard for me to even take that because we took that L against the Packers. But yeah, they bounced back hard. So hard.
there's more weeks to go, but like Toph said, we're looking extremely good. I'm going to cut you off, Toph. Keep going.
No, you good. Like I said, I don't even think we really buried the Lions. We just said, we at least want to see how they look offensive, defensively with new coaches. Week one, this week one, that's always like one of the biggest overreaction weeks there is. You got to see right now a lot of teams that we were high on, Ravens, all kind of teams, just looking a little scary right now. My biggest thing was just like the identity for the Lions. Like I didn't see it, but after the Ravens game today, as bad as the Browns may look, they still have the best defense in the league, and you kind of saw it wasn't easy. But there becomes a point in time when the defense can only stand pat for so long if the offense isn't moving the ball. It's hard. You can't play lockdown defense for an entire game. And it's kind of like what I was saying about the Giants, the Browns, like you could see the look on their players' faces when they got to go out there, guard the hell. The Lions have so much to deal with, it becomes tiring. Like I said, you can't do your job. Poor Miles Garrett, he's out there struggling. You got Joe Flacco throwing the ball to the other team. It eats at you. You just can't go hard anymore. Whether if it's going to be Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, I hope it's Gabriel. I don't even want Shedeur to even play for the Browns. Like I said, you're already at this point. I wish they wouldn't have beat the Packers. If you'd have been winning this, it would have been a whole lot easier. You already botched your quarterback play. You got, taking Flacco off the couch. You got Gabriel splitting, reps. You got Shedeur. He gets like one rep in practice. Like you don't even see what you got. At least the Giants, made the right move. After that last game, seeing like the look on the fans' faces, the boos, he's not even giving the players a chance. He's just throwing the ball out. Like, you could see it on their face. They're tired. They're done with it. They're not going to rock with you anymore. So I think the Browns need to go. The Giants, full youth movement. You kind of see now, you see the short Scatterable. He's out there yelling in practice. The energy is up. The Browns, that's what they need. They just need a juice, a spark. So like I said, hopefully they make that move. But like shout out to the Lions. Even Gibbs, or not Gibbs, my bad. Demo. They didn't really think today, but it didn't matter. They still took care of business. Because with them, it could be anybody's day. But anytime I watch the Lions, I'm like, man, barring any kind of injury, as long as you don't put Jared Goff where you got to put the cape on, this team should be fine. Like I said, I still think I'm not the biggest fan of the Eagles. I still think they could get got. I would love to see the Lions play the Eagles. I think the Rams are probably the second best team in the NFC. So I would love to see the Lions and Rams play. Like I said, props to Lions, man. But for me, the Browns, you just got to go youth movement, man. See what you got. With Shedeur being a fifth round pick, he could honestly leave after this year. He doesn't have, a lot of money in there. So I hope he could just kind of see what he got. You see these teams, the Raiders, Geno's throwing picks left and right, man. Like I said, all these teams, you can't tell me Shedeur Sanders is, worse than all these guys I'm seeing, just throwing the ball away. So I feel bad for the players. But that's my rant, man. Lions, y'all up right now.
I do want to say, yeah, too, just to a few of your points. To your point about us not burying them. My whole thing was I just wanted to see before I started talking about the Lions. Coming into the season, I just wanted to see. And then, yeah, like I said, after the Ravens game, I've been full aboard, like, hey, we're back. We are back. And then today, another proof of that. I do, like you said, the Eagles, the Eagles just haven't looked right. They looked better today than they have the rest of the season. And I agree with you. The Rams are probably the other big one in the NFC. But I'm looking across the whole entire league. As a Lions fan, I don't have any fear about any of these guys. I would love to play the Packers again, get that lick back. And I mean, the Bills are probably the only team that I'm like genuinely, I don't want to say scared of, but I would be like, oh shit,
You gotta respect them.
Can we get this done against them? Aside from that, I feel good about our shot against anybody.
I'd put the Rams in there just because the Rams are the Rams, and we will play them this season, and we will do it in LA. So that's going to be tough for Jared to have to go and do that. But
is that his first time going back to LA?
Second.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the Rams Colts later on in the show, but I do, to your point, I feel like the Rams are like the NFC's like measuring stick. I feel like they're always so consistently good, and they don't always win every game, but it's like, if you want to know if your team was legit or not, let's go play the Rams and see.
Beat the Rams. Yep.
Keeping it in the division, I don't have too much to say about Vikings versus Steelers. I just want to say three things. Steelers defense looks legit, holding down the Vikings the way that they did today. That man, discount double check Aaron Rodgers. I hate seeing him in number 8. That shit is disgusting. To me, that is 12. It's always going to be 12. But that man is still getting it done. And that is a crazy video, watching him rip the smelling salts before throwing that pass to DK Metcalf, which leads me to number 3. DK Metcalf has had kind of some up and down this season, but today he showed you he still exactly is DK Metcalf. And he is exactly still capable of the exact plays that you used to see from him back in Seattle. Those are my 3 takeaways from that game. Either of you guys have anything on that?
All I'm saying is that DK shorted me 8 yards on my parlay. I had Addison who hit, I had Jefferson who hit, and then and it was a mid-game parlay after he went crazy for 122. And I think he finished. I think I bet him. I either bet him at 150 or 160, and he was like 8 yards short of that. And he was the only person that didn't hit my mid-game parlay.
That's your fault. You started betting on the dude after 100 yards.
Absolutely. But it was the other 2 that went with it. It was Addison, who was sitting at 27, and they had him at 75. And I was like, hell yeah. And what happened? Addison went for an 80-yard touchdown. I had Jefferson with 11 receptions. That happened. It was just DK. DK slowed me down. But other than that, love him being on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was an interesting game. It's always interesting playing, across the pond in these other countries. Like the sound effects, everything was just like kind of weird. But I kind of like what the other countries get to experience. The best sport known to man. Humankind, whatever you want to say.
As you wear
football
is
jersey.
King. As you wear a soccer jersey is crazy.
Exactly. I like all sports.
He's inclusive. Yeah.
We all know what the right football is.
Facts.
But like I said, the Steelers, like I said, they're also a hard team. Like, I think if they could keep the game close, don't ask Aaron to do too much, they'll be good. But I just fear if they gotta, get in the shootout, I also don't think they're equipped to handle that part in there. I also got to say, I feel like a while back, we said who won the trade between the Jalen Ramsey and Minka. Our boy Jalen was balling. I called that man old. I said he lost his step. Hey, I got to hold that L right there. That boy Jalen Ramsey, he out there with the new swag, no gloves out here balling. So, hey, J Ram, I apologize, my boy. That's on me. You doing your thing out there.
I told him to move him to safety. I
said that too.
I think we were both on that wavelength.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah, let's put him back there. And no, he's doing fine.
Yeah, he said, I got something for you.
Yeah,
Here's the biggest question with the Steelers. They have only lost 1 game to the Seahawks.
Ugly loss.
Yeah, yep. But aside from that, have won all their games so far. They are in the division with what? Is that the Browns, Bengals,
Ravens? Steelers, Ravens. Or yeah,
Bengals.
No wait, yeah, Bengals. There we go.
Okay, so as you look around, maybe
I mean, the way the Ravens looking.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I guess that's our next topic too. So we're going to talk about the Ravens versus the Chiefs as our next thing. But let's to bridge that in there. I think that the Ravens season might be over. They're in a terrible division, So maybe not.
Hey,
but
can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah.
Is it time for Harbaugh to go? Do they need a new voice for their team? He's been just like, I want to say average, but he's got all this amazing talent. Other than when they had Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, he has not gotten you back to the promised land. He said the same thing about Mike Tomlin. Andy Reid got put out of, Philadelphia. Is it time for Harbaugh to, just part ways?
Here's why I would say no.
Okay.
When's the last time the Ravens didn't make the playoffs?
I mean, they making the playoffs.
The fact that none of us readily know the answer to that is kind of the answer to that question. They were
probably before Lamar Jackson got there.
Right, they were in the
whatever
AFC
that
Championship
is
2 years ago.
I would say the last time they didn't was the time that Lamar Jackson started for the first time in Week 18 when they kicked Joe Flacco the fuck out of there.
Yep.
I think that was like, what, 2018, 2017, probably?
Okay.
So
somewhere around that time.
And even so, before then, how many years did we see them making the playoffs? I get where you're going. Sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. Yeah. So they've made the playoffs basically every year that Lamar's been a starter. They were in the AFC Championship, not last season, but the season before. Last season, the entire season came down to Mark Andrews dropping a touchdown at the very end of the game. I'm not seeing where this has been a history of John Harbaugh messing up. I think a lot of people, because I've seen this all day today too, people saying that it's time for him to go. I feel like that's an overreaction. We're having the first signs of struggle basically through the entire Lamar Jackson tenure right now. And they've got some injuries over there. So for me, I want to give it time.
I hear you. I don't say necessarily like fire the guy. But I also I kind of see where Toph's coming from of like, hey, we've been that close for this long, and what have you done since you beat your brother with Joe Flacco?
Are we firing excuse me, are we firing what's the coach for the Bills?
That's way different.
McDermott?
That's way different.
It's not way different. The same two teams that are the big dogs aside from the Chiefs keep running into the Chiefs. Like it's not like they're falling apart against other teams. There's 3 big dogs in the AFC, and they're all cannibalizing each other, and one of them keeps coming out on top. It doesn't matter who goes out first between the Bills and the Ravens. They're not getting past the Chiefs. If they're losing to the Bengals and they're losing to the Dolphins and the Jets, that's one thing. You can't get it done. But if you're just losing to the same team that keeps going to the Super Bowl every single year, I can't blame you for not being the one person that can't get that done.
All right, yeah, I hear you as a person, yes. But as a fan, their seats are getting hotter and hotter the more years they don't do that.
The fans are spoiled.
To your point, like
a little bit, but they've had so much success that because they're not reaching this one little spot, now we wanted that to happen. Okay, so if the Lions don't go to the Super Bowl this season, are we getting rid of Campbell? Because they're not even losing it.
Bad argument, too.
No, it's not.
I think it's...
They're not even losing to the same team. They're losing to different teams.
Here's why I say it's different. Scenario, very similar. McDermott hasn't been there as long as Harbaugh has been there before. The expectation for the Ravens, how many MVPs does Lamar have? 2, 3?
2 or 3.
When you have somebody of that caliber, as somebody as we think as high as Harbaugh, even though, you're making it to the playoffs, that team's expectation is Super Bowl or bust now. You just getting to, winning your division, getting to the divisional and the championship game. That's cool and dandy, but you got to bring it home now. That is the expectation. It's the same thing for the Bills now. McDermott hasn't been there as long as Harbaugh has been there before. Like I said, it's the scenario is the same. But like I said, as an owner, as a fan base, there comes a point in time when you got to think. It's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. He won the Super Bowl. They're getting there, but it's falling apart in the playoffs. We all know, except for this year, they're struggling in the regular season. They'll get the playoffs, but you have to at least think. I'm not saying he's going to get fired, but I think you at least have the conversation. Is it time to move on and get a different voice in there? like I said,
Super
I'm not
Bowl-
saying.
Well, but that's
Super Bowl,
Go ahead.
Super Bowl coaches don't grow on trees. I want either of you guys, maybe I'm forgetting one. Give me an example of a time that a coach came in to a team as loaded as the Ravens and immediately took them to where they want to go.
Can I give you one more hypothetical?
Yeah. Who do you want to
When
say?
you, no, not that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like when you watch the team, do you see how frustrated Lamar Jackson gets?
Yeah.
And let's think.
Do you
Just a
think
couple
he-
years.
do
Hold
you
on.
think he-
Wait. I didn't
ahead.
finish.
Go ahead.
A lot of it's on Lamar Jackson. Some of it's got to be on Harbaugh as well too. But let's not forget, just a couple years ago, when he was up to get his contract, what happened? They didn't want to give him his money. He had a fight, tooth and nail. And you can't tell me that they got some kind of, disconnect and rift in there. Because Lamar Jackson, he's trying. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I don't think, that duo might not be what's going to get them to the promised land.
To respond to that, two things. One, John Harbaugh doesn't give Lamar the contract. So the rift isn't with the head coach. The second thing is,
I mean, it goes hand in hand.
A little bit.
I mean,
yeah.
not necessarily. There's been plenty of times where coaches.
I mean, he ain't to
wanted
run right
something
into
to happen.
checks, but
Yeah, you think Brian Schottenheimer?
It might not. I mean,
wanted-
on paper, no.
You think
on
Brian
paper, no.
Schottenheimer wanted
I
Micah
agree
to
with
leave?
you,
Or
but-
you think that, you know what I mean? I think that most of these.
first of all, the Cowboys is the difference.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
that's
Cowboys
different,
is
but-
the anomaly for
You're
everybody.
right, you're
Yes,
right,
But-
'cause
you gotta
Jerry
use
does
somebody
what
else.
Jerry wants to- You're right. Okay. But let me
He's
say
a judge
this.
their execution. That's my
But
boy.
do you
But
think that? Do you
regardless,
do you think that Lamar looks?
regardless, I think this does a whole lot. This does a whole lot in Lamar's head. Like when those negotiations happen, that does something to a guy. You know,
Do you think
like
that
Toast
Lamar
saying.
looks that frustrated if Derrick Henry puts two fucking hands on the ball 2 games in a row?
I mean,
It's a total team effort.
What I'm saying
He could
is
also
that
audible and say, "All right, I'm putting the ball in my hand now."
the Ravens are 2
He could do
fumbles
that.
away from being 2 more wins.
he looked frustrated the entire second half against the Lions.
He's looked frustrated for a while. Not even just these
He-
past couple of games.
When
look
the
frustrated last
spirit
season?
is gone inside of him, it's
Yes,
gone.
he did. Yes, he does. He's been doing this for a while.
Okay.
It's just more amplified now.
So do you think that getting rid of John Harbaugh and bringing in somebody else is going to make Derrick Henry put 2 hands on the ball and make the organization pay him what he's worth? We're scapegoating
No, I think
here.
bringing in
No, I think they need to look at their team and probably, okay, let's look at history. Other than Derrick Henry's not getting no younger as well, too. And you got a lot of other guys on that team, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, some other guys who I think should be in the more rotation more. Because Henry, he can't help himself.
and you've
He's
got
trying to
the
stiff arm the
Harbaugh
whole team.
old-fashioned mindset. It's
He's
kinda,
not making adjustments.
Yeah, it's kind of that time
It's
where
the same thing I said about Sharon Moore. We've seen this before.
well, let's not go there. But
Okay, so let me ask you this. Whenever you replace somebody, you got to have somebody else ready. Who's better?
Yep.
Who?
I don't have
Who's
somebody
gonna
right now,
replace
but
him?
Yeah.
if they don't make the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone.
a top OC in the league
Name
this year,
one.
or a top
Name-
quarterback coach.
Name names.
No.
Oh, I got one. This might be a stretch. You think Nick Saban would come back to the NFL?
Oh
He said
no.
he's never doing it. He said he was never doing it.
Hey, never say never.
It could be fun if that would be
A
the
young
job.
philosopher once said.
That would be the job.
Nick Saban is not going to come out of retirement. Nick Saban, his whole thing is about archaic way of doing things. He left college because it was becoming like the pros because of paying players. He's got a quarterback that freaking runs. He, like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing about Nick Saban, and you're talking about going younger with Keaton Mitchell and this and that. Nothing about bringing in an old-ass Nick Saban is the answer to that solution. Same thing before you ask Bill Belichick. No.
I was definitely not going to go with Bill Belichick.
I'm just saying, keep those old motherfuckers out. That's not what they need. You're going to get rid of the
Bill
second
can stay
oldest-
right where he's at, down there in Chapel Hill.
you're going to get the second oldest coach out of the league and replace him with another old motherfucker who's not even coaching currently, who's calling college game day.
Look,
And
I'm not
because
saying
it was becoming the pros.
I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you I have an answer of who they should hire. All I'm saying is the more he doesn't get to the dance, the hotter his seat gets.
No,
and I think Toph's saying the same thing.
He's always been in the dance. He hasn't been homecoming king.
Well, that's
You know,
what I'm
I got
saying.
a question for Kyle. He probably knows this one. What's the difference between Jim Harbaugh, or sorry, not Jim, John Harbaugh, and James Franklin right now?
Shoot.
Exactly.
Franklin doesn't win any big games.
Exactly what Harbaugh's not doing. Every year in the playoffs. They gonna say it. Best team, stacked roster, gold. You know, you have to win those unexpected. They are one and the same right now.
That 2023 team, the fact that they lost to the Chiefs.
Yes.
Come on. Like,
okay, your guys, once again, I think that we're being sensationalist right now. John
No.
Harbaugh can't make Mark Andrews catch that ball. John Harbaugh can't stop Zay Flowers from fumbling against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
mm-hmm.
Like, we can look at the direct moments where players screw this up.
Yeah, but he calls the plays, man.
We say the same
they
thing.
Didn't need to be passing that ball to Zay Flowers in that situation.
They're the first one to go.
They were winning that game, and they fumbled it on a pass that they didn't need to make.
What I want to know is this. If this was last year, and we were talking about, okay, potential opportunities to replace John Harbaugh, Ben Johnson, and Kellen Moore, we're having a conversation. Name that OC.
It's week 4. I don't know necessarily. I mean,
I'm standing by my take.
Okay.
Okay, what y'all got to say?
And I'm not going to sit, like I just said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have a replacement. All I'm saying is the more he loses, the hotter the seat gets. And that's going to go 10 years from now. That's going to go for Dan Campbell if he doesn't win us something. Like, I'll stand on that.
All that to being said,
it's going to take time, but.
All that to being said, even though I don't agree with it, if they miss the playoffs this season, could I see him being gone? Yes. Harbaugh.
And that was all I said.
Yep.
Was this time for the conversation?
Yeah, exactly. We weren't saying it's
I didn't say
happen.
I got something lined up for him.
I see, yeah. But
I mean, we had the same conversation. We've been having that about Mike Tomlin for the last three years?
And they say it like almost every single year.
Yep. But
they say this thing about Aaron Rodgers. He won the Super Bowl like 10 years ago. They try to discredit it.
So to circle back to where we started with that.
Yeah, you're right. I think Mike Tomlin should be the next Ravens head coach.
No,
that's crazy to go in the division. I ain't mad at it though.
We started with that. Do you see any potential real threat for the Steelers not winning their division?
Winning?
Yeah. Bengals cooked. Browns cooked.
Yeah.
Ravens half cooked.
Yeah, I mean the Ravens.
I think
hit a win streak.
Right now.
I'm just wondering if that's
right now. They're in the driving seat. No.
I'm saying, like, is it wrong for us to have that expectation for them?
I mean, that's what you got Aaron Rodgers for.
I'm with you. So then, instead of the Ravens losing in the playoffs, we'll see the Steelers losing the playoffs.
Which we've seen that before.
Probably the fucking Andy Reid too. Yeah.
Okay, so then let's hit on the other team involved in that. Then Chiefs versus Ravens. I do want to come out here, not to slob myself too much, but I came out here a week or 2 weeks ago, and said everybody worried about the Chiefs need to chill out until they get their weapons back. You remember that conversation?
You did say that.
Hey, everybody who's saying the sky is falling, can we wait till we get Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy? We don't even have Rashee Rice yet. We just got Xavier Worthy, and shit looked a whole lot different today. You're seeing Kelsey being able to make plays today because Xavier Worthy is opening things up. Imagine what happens when Rashee Rice comes back. There was a total annihilation of a game, so there's not too much of us to really break down for that, at least for me on my side. But that was my biggest takeaway from that is, looks like the Chiefs may be on their way back, and they still have Rashee Rice to come back and help as well.
Yeah, I mean that offense was surprising today. And I mean Xavier Worthy didn't. I mean, I don't know what he did stat wise, but
It was like 80 yards. He did
he
his
didn't.
thing.
Yeah, he didn't go off the sheet, And they still all just having him back in the lineup, having that threat back, made things open up for everybody else. So, yeah, the Chiefs are still somebody to be worried about. That's for sure. And now they're 2-2, so look out.
I want to ask a question real quick, Tuff, before you go in here. Do we think this was one of two things, though? Are we overreacting to how good the Chiefs' offense is because the Ravens' defense is dog shit?
That's what I was gonna say. But still, it still looks good on their part. But we just saw what the Lions just did.
I was just
You
gonna
know,
And the
say,
Bills.
cooked.
And the Bills.
Yes.
and the Lions then went and put up 34 on what we think is maybe one of the best defenses the next week. So it's so hard to tell,
Any quarterback that gets a nice clean pocket will pick apart anybody. It's just like 7-7 at that point in there. And the Ravens have historically, we talk about the Bengals and their bad defense. Ravens are supposed to be known for that. They can't stop a nosebleed right now. So like I said, I'm gonna give props to both sides, but at the same time, the Ravens defense ain't looking too high. Everybody's been lighting them up. So
Okay.
Ravens are scary in a bad way.
yeah, I was gonna say they're scary, all right.
Scary to fucking watch.
Yeah.
Free more. The Falcons are taking. We'll give you 3 first-round picks. A
and Michael
Hellcat.
Penix. Toph, today something happened that you have been calling for since before the season started. Take off.
Yes, sir. The young king has arrived. Jersey on the way. It's in the mail. It's coming. It's coming. But this is what I literally said before week 1 started. We know what Russell Wilson is. Granted, he had an okay year last year. Nothing crazy. But I didn't have any expectation for the Giants before the season started. If you're gonna have, you traded up for this guy. He didn't just fall in your lap. You had to move up to get this guy. So if you make that move, you had to let this guy play. You cannot let him sit for a year. It's the same thing I said, last year. You could show the history over the past 5 to 6 years. This isn't, 10 years ago when you draft somebody like Aaron Rodgers and he sits for 3 to 4 years to learn. Contracts are too expensive. If he's not the guy, you have to do that whole process over again and find your quarterback. If your quarterback loses confidence because he threw 10 picks, getting sacked left and right, he wasn't the guy to begin with. Jaxson Dart. I'm not saying, he's going to be the next Tom Brady. But from OTAs, preseason, and just practice, when he gets in the game, the players, they rock with him. He is the ultimate spark plug. That man's got the most confidence I've ever seen. They say he's the next coming Johnny Manziel. When I see Daniel Jones, when I see Jaxson Dart, those are 2 different people in there. Daniel Jones look like, he's belong in the cubicle. That man ain't got no aura, no confidence. For y'all to come at my boy, JB6. We're talking about you don't want to shoot his confidence. He's unflappable. Now, he probably might throw 3 picks next week, but that's fine. The thing that I like, what I saw, Scatterbo. Hold on, let me put this up. Neighbors, miss you, homie.
Rest in peace.
The whole team, you could see the crowd was rocking. As soon as he came out the tunnel, they were ready to go. You weren't getting with Russell Wilson. Like I was saying a couple topics ago, if you're getting no consistency on the offense, just 3 and out, it's draining. You don't want to go out there and play it no more. Just getting straight built to ass out there. You're not going to play that hard. All the receivers, even though Malik Neighbors is out, you still got Theo Johnson, Dalen Bellinger, Jalen Hyatt, who's a burner. He's got to step up. Darius Slayton, he's been a veteran. He can still make some plays. Wan'Dale Robinson, that's the guy I've been talking about. It is time for Wan'Dale to step up. Scatterbo, that man's on crack. I don't know what he on, but that dude is crazy. But he could ball. But the fact that Jaxson Dart is in there, I don't know. I thought he had Josh Allen back there. All them play calls Dayball was running up. You can't get that with Russell Wilson. The whole offense changes. We're not trying to get wins. We want to build up chemistry and just see what you got. Like I said, he's a rookie. He's going to have some real bad games. He's going to have some lowlights in there. And there's some good moments. You just want to see the flashes, how he reacts in there. So my young King Jaxson Dart, when he did that touchdown dance, I said, yep, he's arrived. He'll be all right. Now, Dayball, you got to stop doing these direct handoffs with Jaxson Dart. That man had 15 carries today. Out there getting smacked. He's got to stop lowering that shoulder. I know he likes to run people over. Jackson, you better slide next time, my boy. That's your agent talking.
Yeah, that's right. That's straight from the source. Man,
I'll call him up.
I couldn't have said it better myself, man. But I
You're
mean,
welcome.
this this Giants team is still probably only going to get 6 wins this year at the most.
Probably.
But I mean, God, I came into this season kind of on the other side of things where I thought, like, if Russ could make it work with the Steelers, he could make this work here with the Giants and just do the bare minimum to get them through the season. And that has obviously not been the case. So why the hell not start Jaxson Dart? Obviously him coming into his starting role with one of the best wide receivers we've seen in recent years join the league for probably an entire season now. That sucks. It's just so Giants for him to be coming back and Neighbors to be coming into the starting role and Neighbors to be getting hurt and not in for a year. But I mean, like you said, he got that aura about him, and Lord knows that the Giants need it because Russell Wilson is essentially a negative aura bot. Yeah. So he is just going to consistently deplete aura from your entire franchise as he's there. So having a guy like Jaxson Dart that eats a W straight out of Jameis Winston's hands, that's a guy you want in your franchise. So I do wish the Giants well.
I also, like Kyle, I was on the opposite about starting him. I still stand by that as far as developing quarterbacks. Once again, we all know I'm a Green Bay fan, so that's been the recipe over there. It's been working for the last 3 quarterbacks. But as I said on, I think it was last Sunday, Russ left no choice at all. His performance against the Chiefs was despicable. It was some of the worst quarterbacking I've ever seen in the final 2 drives, especially those 3 out of 4 throwaways in the back of the end zone. That was terrible. Like I said, he left absolutely no choice. So, Jaxson Dart time, it absolutely made sense. And, yeah, I'm happy to see him get a win. I feel terrible for both Dart not having Neighbors. I feel bad for Neighbors having to go through all of the Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, Russ. Finally you get a chance to work with Jaxson Dart, and now you get hurt. It makes me think about
Drew Lock.
It's like a Shakespearean tragedy, dog. It reminds me of Garrett Wilson being so excited to not have Zach Wilson anymore, and then Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles. It's like, bro, it's just like a bad beat. But wishing for a full recovery for Neighbors. But as far as you said with the youth movement, absolutely with you on that. It looks like they're having fun out there. You got the Lightning Bolt and Jaxson Dart, and then you've got the kid who eats crayons in Scatabo. And the 2 of them look like they are going to have
48 pack crayons.
Yeah. Scatabo is a crackhead in the best way possible. He's got the exact personality you want from a running back or a linebacker.
He's surprisingly athletic, man. When he's doing them backflips, I said, "Oh, hey, that's a big dude doing a backflip, man."
Yeah, that little bulky Labubu can play.
Yeah, that little saltine cracker don't mess around. You know what I mean?
That boy ate his grits and Wheaties.
So on the flip side of that, to the biggest Chargers fan out of the 3 of us, what does today say for you, Toph?
Today literally just sums up every single Charger season. Everybody just always gets hurt. Everybody, every single year. It's always somebody new. And I can't make excuses for my boy today. Everybody has an off game. Um, it's tough when you have basically a whole new offensive line. Used to the Lions go through it, this year. Now you lost some really, really good tackles. Slater was an all-pro. So these are some of the best tackles in the league, and for them to be gone, both ends, everybody's going to be a little bit gun shy. Your eyes start playing tricks on you. Like I said, no excuses, but I do want to say, Quentin Johnson, keep it up there, my boy. You about to make your first Pro Bowl. Proud of you. I think they'll be all right. Like I said, just one game. We'll see how they look next week. If they lose next week, then it might be time to, open up their switch and maybe hit that panic button. But we're not there yet.
And just to touch back on the Giants real quick before you touch in, Spencer. The last time a quarterback was asked to start for the Giants while they had 0 wins in the middle of a season, it was Phil Simms in 1978.
Oh my gosh!
And
Dinosaurs were still running around back then.
Phil Simms went and won that game. And what did Jaxson Dart do today? Regardless of his stats, he went and won that game. So history might be repeating itself, and the Giants won the Super Bowl that year. So, I mean, hey.
I don't want them to win the Super Bowl. Let's get let's build on it. Let's get a nice low draft pick. Get someone that could really help you out, and then maybe next year we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We got to tank a little bit.
We'll get there. Yeah.
What position would you want to see them get in the draft?
Offensive line.
Okay.
Not even close.
Yeah.
I want to detour real quickly before we move into Colts versus Rams. Meant to start the show by talking about this, and I don't want to end the show on this note. There was a shooting today at a church in what city was it, Kyle?
Grand Blanc,
which is in Michigan, where all three of us are from. So, just want to express condolences and prayers for the people that were there, had to deal with that. I think there was people that died for them and their families. I can't imagine how scary and terrified that's got to be going to church and having to deal with something like that. So, once again, condolences and prayers from me on that. It's crazy when it touches so close to home.
Yep. 2 people confirmed that passed away, 4 injured at the last time I looked at it. So, yeah, very sad stuff. Sad that we have to get to this point in any facet.
Absolutely. Okay. Bounce back in. So last week we had 6 undefeated teams. We had the Niners, the Bucks, the Bills, Eagles, Chargers, and Colts. After today, only 2 undefeated teams remain, the Eagles and the Bills. Let's talk about one of those teams that lost today, Colts versus Rams. So we mentioned earlier that the Rams are kind of like the measuring stick in the NFC. If you think that you're a good team, it's time to go play the Rams and see how you fare. I want to know what you guys think out of this, because there was, I think Daniel Jones, if I'm not mistaken, threw 2 interceptions. Then you also had how do you pronounce his name? The guy that starts with the A?
Adonai Mitchell.
Adonai Mitchell with the stupidest fumble you've ever seen before. Every year we see this, and players don't learn. Prioritize the touchdown before you celebrate. Stupid. All due disrespect.
That's a Longhorn too.
All due disrespect. That's not even a today thing. That's a Wednesday thing. But all due
Mitchell.
disrespect to Adonai Mitchell for that stupid ass play. But what I'm curious about is between Daniel Jones's 2 interceptions, Adonai Mitchell's fumble out the back of the end zone. Do we think, and they still only lost by what? I believe a touchdown. So it was a single possession to the Rams. Does that mean to you guys that the Colts are for real and can clean up these dumb mistakes, because even one less turnover may have made the difference in the game? Or does it mean that the Colts are going to do what we expect the Colts to do, and Daniel Jones is going to fold like we've seen him fold before?
Right, what do you see for real? We talk about like playoffs. Like, what exactly does that mean?
I mean, 3-0 doesn't usually mean like, what is, when you see a team start 3-0? What are your expectations for them?
It depends on the team. I mean, now the wins that you've had, nobody. I think you've probably had them with the worst team in the league.
What,
So you
before
might have had them just going, yeah,
We
like
both,
before the
yeah,
season
me
started.
too.
Yep,
Me
Not
too.
me.
Kyle and I, yep. It was between them and between them and the Saints. And
Yep.
I mean, given my choices for quarterback preseason, thinking it was Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, I was like, yeah, I mean, they're not going anywhere. So, but every week they've looked legit. Like, could give somebody a problem, could not go to the Super Bowl, but could maybe make the playoffs and knock somebody out. Like, their division is terrible, so making the playoffs is
Yes.
not difficult for them.
I think the Colts have always had, like, pieces in place. I think the quarterback play, I mean, you've been looking for a guy since Andrew Luck, which I think Andrew Luck retired, what, 20?
It was like 6 years ago, I
Damn.
think.
Yeah, I was like, that's a while ago. It's just been like that quiet team, like I was saying, you go on Madden, things aren't really popping out at you, but like when they play, they are, trying their hardest out there. JT, he's fighting for, people might have wrote him off. He said, I might be the best back in the league, and fortunately that man had that long run taken back. Somebody wanted to hold. What an asshole that guy was, but. I could see them beating somebody. It depends on who they get matched up with, but really good defense. I think Adonai Mitchell, that's a guy that you want. You need somebody to stretch the field. Michael Pittman, he's a gritty possession guy. He's no burner, but he does his job. I think you need that next element on that team to take them over the top. Defense, they're going to do their thing, but like I said, they definitely need a bit more of a spark. You can't just give JT 30 carries a game. That's not sustainable. So if they could get, more of a vertical threat, I love Tyler Warren putting him in that H-back role. The guy used to get handoffs back there in Penn State. He's an absolute weapon. So like I said, I like where they're going. It just needs to, keep building the chemistry, sprinkle some more explosive plays, and I think they'll be all right.
But do you, as it pertains to that question though, do you think that
Mm-hmm.
the mistakes today, do you think that it gives you hope because it was a one possession game with those 3 turnovers, or do you think that the 3 turnovers are indicative of what we're going to see come postseason?
No, I mean, the guy literally had a touchdown when you dropped the ball. You get that play back in there, or right back in it. It's not like
What about the interceptions from Daniel Jones? Do those concern you, or
it's Daniel Jones. We've seen this before.
well, that's what I'm saying.
But the team,
Is he going back to Daniel Jones, or is he Indiana Jones?
no, he's still Indiana Jones.
Okay.
But like I said, golf threw 5 picks in one game. They still won. It's
Sure.
like a full team effort. Nobody's gonna have a perfect slash line every single game. Football's about momentum. If you're gonna have some turnovers, hopefully they're earlier than later, so you can kind of recover from it. But the Colts, everybody's written their team off. They've kind of shown week after week that they got something to them. So no, I think they'll be just fine. Just because let alone at least their division, they should win that. They're going to be in the playoffs, even regardless.
Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, if the Colts keep doing what they're doing and they keep holding face, great. They beat the brakes off of 2 teams they should have beat, the Titans and the Dolphins, and then they had they beat the brakes off of and then they had a very close game with the Broncos, beat them by 1 point, and then you lose this one. It's tough. To me, I mean, you got kind of like Toph said, you got to get Pittman and Josh Downs and those other guys on your roster that kind of have that downfield ability going. Alec Pierce, and then you also have Adonai Mitchell, who's, while untapped potential, he's still a lot of potential. And
He was a 2nd round pick.
yeah, Yeah, I mean, he was very highly recruited out of Texas. So you have the guys in the room. It's just working everything out and getting it all in the same motion. Is that going to be with Daniel Jones? I don't know. But let me tell you what, these offensive coaches and this head coach with the Colts have worked so much better with Daniel Jones in 4 weeks than they ever did with Anthony Richardson. So if we're talking about the quarterback that's putting you in the best position to win, it definitely is Daniel Jones. Does that mean they're going to make the playoffs? I don't know, but he is their best quarterback on their roster for the system that they have. No doubt.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with both of what you guys are saying. Bucks versus Eagles. Kyle?
This one was tough for me. I really actually wanted the Bucks to win this, and then they kind of made their march back in garbage time. But I mean, the Eagles are and forever will be the real deal. So they earned it, and we just got to eat it as the rest of the NFL.
Toph?
I don't know if I could say real deal, but they are your defending champions, and you play to win the game. They're winning their games in there. But I
That's
remember
real
just a
deal.
couple of years ago, they were riding high. And all of a sudden, the sky fell out. They started losing games. It's just a way that, granted, the Rams should have beat them. I know they didn't win, but I'm going to count that as an L. Week 1, the Cowboys had you on the ropes. That's a game you got to blow them out the water. We just talked about the Packers doing that. The Eagles haven't played a full game where I can feel confident. You play the Lions, you're good. You'll win this game. At no point have the Eagles ever gave me confidence that they look like the Eagles of last year. They're loading the box. Saquon Barkley is, trying out there. Like I said, the pass game, eventually you're gonna have to open up that playbook and throw the ball down the field. You were, handling the Buccaneers, and all of a sudden they came back. Baker started rolling. Baker's out there throwing to, whoever at this point. That man's got one leg, Chris Godwin, old man Mike, he's out. Like I said, Baker tried all he could. He had a horrendous interception down in the red zone. Definitely can't do that. Like I said, for what Baker has, the Buccaneers, they were right there. My boy Bucky. Hey, Bucky, keep doing your thing out there, man. But no, I am not a believer in the Eagles whatsoever. If they play the Lions, I think they're getting dog walked.
Yeah, I mean, Toph, you kind of hit the nail on the head to begin with. They don't instill a ton of confidence in when you're watching them play. They have holes that you can see in their team, but, and I think I said this before, maybe last week, on almost like a Chiefs-esque run, keep finding nasty ways to win games. The Chiefs have been doing that for several years now, and it's like it could be the most disgusting thing ever. It might take a bounce off of a field goal post, but the Chiefs still found ways to win.
But we'll be at 33 and y'all be at 32. Yeah,
yep,
I know.
Yes.
that's what the Eagles have been doing this season. So it's like I'm with you, Toph, on the sense that it's like I need to see some more games. But I mean, even like I said, the measuring stick with the Rams, they were losing to the Rams, came back on them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them play the Lions. I want to see them play the Packers. I want to see them what that looks like. But Bucks, I just want to say this about Baker Mayfield. I was so curious for the end of the game today. Before this weekend, Cam Newton was on First Take. He was talking about how he would take the Eagles over the Bucks, but if it came down to the last drive for either quarterback, he thinks that basically Baker's more clutch than Jalen Hurts, which is a sentiment that I've kind of expressed on the show before too. And I was just waiting to see, and Baker could not get it done. It has been 3 straight weeks of game-winning drives, but today was the day that could not come to a close, which means one of two things. Either it didn't happen for Baker today, or the Eagles have that same crazy blood magic voodoo ritual shit that the Chiefs had going on. Toph,
Really
what's
quick.
up? Yeah.
Have the Eagles also been saved by the refs not calling a proper
Yes.
tush push? Yeah, like I said,
Oh.
you take that out. The Chiefs might have beat them. Like that is legitimate. It is blatant that they're leaving that early. And if that is your bread and butter play, they're not calling it. The defense can't do anything.
And
It's not their fault.
I don't know if I said this on Wednesday or if I said this on Sunday, but if they keep doing that and it keeps not getting called, it's not going to be the actual play of the tush push that's the reason it gets banned. It's going to be the fact that they keep being allowed to cheat, and that's going unpunished. The owners are going to shut that shit down.
You take that out, Jalen Hurts has another development. Now you really got to, go through your reads. It's going to look a bit different.
It was kind of cool to see them. I don't know why they did this in September and not in November or December.
The trick one? That was cool.
Yep, the trick
that was nasty.
And then even like the lineup where they're all bunched up, and then they don't have Goddard behind them for the push, but they've Goddard next to him. Hurts pretends like he's going to run in and then pitches it to Goddard. So they're getting creative over there, which is a good sign to see because they have a new offensive coordinator because Kellen Moore was there last season. But yeah, they're an intriguing team to follow this season to see how far it feels like their bullshit can go.
Yeah.
You guys have any other thoughts about the games today?
Fuck the tush push. No, I'm good.
If your team didn't win, you can't say foot or ball.
Hey,
my team's won, so we're good this week.
You trying to be Ocho?
I'm good.
Collins
Spencer,
won
you
too,
can't
so
say
we're good.
Hey,
he halfway can't say. He can't say foot, but he can say ball.
Oh yeah, he can say foot. Yeah.
Hey,
you can't say foot, but you can say ball. Though.
Yeah.
Big number one out here is number one. I don't know what you're talking about.
Evil Knievel doesn't walk that tight line and claim to be on both sides of it,
I'm not Evil Knievel. I'm Spencer Wells, and I do what the fuck I want. I want to give a quick shout out to end the show. Shout out to the fucking 49ers and your bitch ass fans. I've been getting hate for a week straight. Every person in the state of California has taken the time to come on our TikTok and tell me I'm a fucking idiot. And I'm cool with that. But I want to point out, one of you motherfuckers have said, because this is me talking about how Mac Jones is doing similar level of work as Brock Purdy. And everyone was like, oh, that's stupid. And I was saying Brock Purdy is not a top 10 quarterback. And somebody said, with Brock out, we can't even beat, or we can, let me rephrase that. It was after the Cardinals game. Somebody in the comments had said, with Brock out, we can barely beat trash teams. Well, today y'all had Brock, and you still lost to a trash team. Hold that motherfucking L. Late entry, we out of here.
Hold on, wait.
Wait. Yep.
No, I definitely don't think Brock Purdy's a top 10 quarterback. But I believe that you did say it's a system thing. What happened to that system when Trey Lance was their quarterback?
Trey Lance played 2 games for them?
You said you could play anybody in there, though. Is that what you said?
Right,
you said Nick Mullins in there. So why didn't it work with him though?
Okay, so if we're gonna do that, Trey Lance played 2 or 3 games. He got hurt and never was given a chance to get his job back because they put Brock Purdy in.
And Brock Purdy was that good at the position where it wasn't even a competition. It's not like they're just playing on game day and going from there. They're playing in practice, and it was very clear that Brock Purdy was the better quarterback for them. It wasn't like they just gave up on Trey Lance like that.
I'm not saying that
kind of did, but
I'm not saying that Brock Purdy isn't better than Trey Lance or not. First of all, we never saw it. To what Toph just said,
he is better than Trey Lance.
Can I tell my story?
Brock Purdy's definitely better than Trey Lance.
Can I tell my story?
Yeah.
What my point was is that if a system can make a mid-tier quarterback or a lower mid-tier quarterback look good, it can make a higher end lower good tier quarterback look top 10. It doesn't mean they are top 10 anywhere else.
Okay, I had to throw the Trey Lance part in because you said any quarterback. So I just at least want to save that part for the chat coming people. From. Because you said any. So I had to at least throw his name in the fold.
Right, yes.
I'm good now.
Yeah,
I don't think the San Francisco 49ers was the only team for Brock Purdy at the end of the day.
I mean, we'll never know. because I mean he was really the last pick of the draft.
You also think that Brock Purdy is better than Dak, so.
And,
no.
Yeah, and I stand on that. I will stand on that. Yeah.
Can you, just for the sake of since we're doing this a little bit right now, tell me a non-Dallas team that Brock could go and have the same level of success?
A non-Dallas team.
Yeah. I'm just saying because we don't see eye to eye on him versus Dak. So I'm just saying pick another team.
I'm not going to do that because we've been through this before. I've picked teams for him before, and every time you just roast me. So I'm just not going to do it.
Tove?
He's done great in his position, just like Dak. I mean, and I think Brock Purdy in his time has been a little bit better when he's healthy than Dak.
No, I mean I think Brock Purdy is where he should be. You know, he got them to the Super Bowl, but when it came for him to make the play, he did not make that play. And that's why they didn't win this Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Hey.
Yeah, touche.
He's not that force multiplier, as he likes to say.
Thank you. Which is the entire fucking point.
Neither is Dak. I mean, if you're going to call...
That's true. He's not, but he still is better than him.
Was Dak in my top 10?
No, but I'm just saying, like, for you to be like sitting here on this hill, like that Brock Purdy is worse than him. Dak let the clock run out in the playoffs. I've never seen that from Brock Purdy.
Dak wasn't the only person that had to get lined up. His whole team fucked that up.
No, Dak fucked that
too.
up. Dak fucked that up.
Okay. Brock Purdy didn't know the fucking overtime rules in the Super Bowl. We can compare shit and doo-doo all day.
I'm sure a lot of people would have known
sure
that rule as well too.
Players that were the ones that were not sure about it, but yeah.
No, it was the
offense. Sure it was Fred Warner that gave them the ball.
The offense didn't know that they had to score. That's how that happened.
All right. That's not.
So I think Ryder started with the ball.
That's on Shanahan, man. If you don't know that in the Super Bowl, that's on your coach. That's not on the quarterback.
I mean, shit, I knew it at home. I don't even fucking play NFL football. What are we talking about?
Yeah, but you're locked into the season and you're locked into your playbook.
Not every coach is good at those situational moments. That's usually some coaches literally have a person to tell them.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, hey, this is the situation. Don't forget, which is still kind of crazy, but it's a thing.
I hear you.
Yeah, so quit your shit.
But Dak's not in my top 10. That's the crazy thing about this. The argument...
Definitely not in mine.
Brock Purdy wasn't in my top 10.
The argument for me about this whole thing is that Brock Purdy isn't a top 10 quarterback. I didn't say he's ass.
I know, but no. The argument for you right now, right here, is you just called me out for saying that he was worse than Dak. And I'm telling you he's not. And you have not provided me anything concrete that says otherwise.
Would Purdy have done what Dak did?
Good night, everybody. Welcome back to Late Entry. Good night. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All that bullshit.
To quote a man that is now canceled, I guess we'll never know. Peace out.